Good morning for everybody who's coming in. Good morning to everybody who is on Facebook and Facebook land. We are going to have a hot tea today on how we operate in the world of standards. That's what this topic is about. But welcome, share with your community, share with whoever you need to share with. Now, we also have a Facebook admin. So if you have questions, please feel free to ask those questions on Facebook. If you want to work with me and you want to come in and interact with me, come into the Zoom space. But welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, Adam. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Who else is in the space? Good morning. Welcome. Let me hear some voices. Good morning, Grand Rising.
Grand Rising Queen.
Good morning.
Good morning, Meika.
Good morning. How is everyone? How is everyone? Good morning. Everyone that is you and you really want to go and get a pen and paper, whatever you need, get your juice, get your coffee, get your tea, get your water, whatever it is that you do in the morning, but definitely get a pen and paper because you want to write some of these notes down. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome, 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 welcome. Good morning in Facebook land. Again, get your notes out, get your pen, your paper, call your people, text them. Good morning.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together.
Up. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Wake up. This is your thought healer, Miss Meika. I am here today as your coach, as your thought healer. Some of you who do not know me and do not know what a thought healer is, what I do is I have one-on-one conversations where we comb through conversations of that are ineffective in your life, conversations that do not work for you. And I do this every day. I love what I do. And we look at how we can have your life be more fulfilled, more satisfied, and clear. And that's your girl, Miss Meika. And so today's topic is about how we betray our standards, how we know that the bar is low in certain areas of our life because we have become so desensitized and we've given up, or we stop fighting, we stop engaging, or we stop believing in ourselves in that area. And wherever we don't have faith, that in that particular area of life, our standard is low. And so a lot of people struggle with, oh, I'm not getting the respect that I deserve. If that's happening, there's some place where your standard for yourself is low, or you've betrayed stepping up or standing up for yourself. And so I started to see this where it's like in the world of like connections, in the world of like communication, in the world of like politics, like we've normalized low standards. Now, everybody who knows me knows that I love, absolutely adore the beach, right? Like look at me, I'm tropical today, right? I love summer. I love the beach. I don't care. I just love it, right? It grounds me, and that's where I feel most connected to myself, where I feel most connected to the earth and the divine. And I was on the beach and I was like, wow, I'm a little annoyed on the beach because there's chicken bones and garbage and cigarette butts, and I mean it was just here and there, but it was like people have lowered the standards because it's like I don't oh, there's somebody else that can do it. So for people, they're like, oh, I could just throw that into the sand and cover it up with sand, right? Or I can leave it to the seagulls, or because somebody else will do it. And so if we're all collectively betraying high standards, then we live in this world of just like chaos. And people have low standards of communication. People have low standards of cleanliness. People have low standards in the world of politics. Hello, we're all living in it, right? Uh, Look at the train system, or like just so. But what I really wanted to start to discuss, right? Not just the world betraying its own standards, but I wanted to discuss how we betray ourselves and our own standards. And so normally I jump in, I ask people questions, and we're going to do that. But before we do that, I want you to watch this video. It's a 3-minute video, but it's an important video. I wanted to wait to make sure that more people came into the space so that they can see the video. And I'm going to give it like maybe 2 or 3 minutes. But if this conversation is, I'm going to bring in one person. Let's just bring on one person just to see if this is opening up for somebody. And this is a great segue because when we first started Wake Up, oh my gosh, the standard. Everybody was raising their hand. Everybody was jumping in. Everybody wanted to participate. There was no struggle to get people to raise their hand. There was always participation. There was always interaction. We didn't, as facilitators, we didn't have to beg for it. Like people were, I don't know, it was because of COVID or because this thing called Wake Up was new and you just wanted a piece of it. But now it's like every time I come and I ask people to jump in, raise their hand, what's opening up for you? It's like a struggle. And that's a standard. That has become the standard now, right? And so we want to start paying attention to how we're operating and like what standards we're living in and what standards we're living by, and how we start to normalize this passive or lack of engagement, not just in Wake Up, but lack of engagement in our lives. And I'm actually going to talk about how lack of engagement and what it does to your actual brain. What's happening in your brain when you don't engage, and what happens to your brain when you do engage. So just in this little segue of a conversation, because I want to wait and see if more people jump in before I play the video. So what's opening up for you just in your standards and how you've been living your life? Teresa,
And so, good morning, peace and blessing.
good
So
morning.
glad to be here. What I realized for myself, I've been home, like for the last 6 months, and there was days when I was really bad, but then I realized I got so accustomed to being home and not, like getting up and doing stuff, and so that's what I feel my lack of, like being committed to myself, and so recently, I just had a situation that caused me to have to get up, and
Mm.
yesterday I just had a rough day. I was in a lot of pain, but I still, try to sit up anyway. And I wasn't able to get up like I normally do, but I still sat up. And so I was, glad that I was able to push and sit up. So, just pushing for me right now is the thing that I have to do because I haven't been outside in like almost 7 months. And so
So
I
being
miss that.
inside has become your new standard of living.
Yes. Yes.
Right. And
Yeah.
so recognizing that, recognizing like, this is my new standard. So now I have to create a whole new standard to break up. And it doesn't, creating the new standard could mean, it could be anything. It could be creating partnership, right? It could be creating, having support. It could be, I don't know, right? It's not my job to create your new standard, but it's an opportunity to start to see like, oh, this is the standard of living. And, you know, I was in Virginia. My younger brother lives in Virginia Beach, right? And he was talking to me about the projects there in Virginia Beach. And he was like, oh, look at it. He was like, he was like, they decided to build a school in the middle of the projects. The man is trying to keep everybody inside, right? And I was like, I don't see projects. I see a structure and I see townhouses with 2 floors, right? I see that a school that is in the middle of the structure where moms have the convenience of getting their kids to school without having them to get on the bus and travel far. So you see, our perspectives are different. And he was like, yeah, but it's dirty. That's the standard. See, if gentrification came into that structure, right, the standard would change. The structure is the same. The only difference is the standard, not the structure. They didn't tear the buildings down. They just had new people come in, right? Renovated it some, but the structure in itself, that's the same. The only difference is the standard. If your standard is to allow your dog to pee in the hallway and to throw garbage on the ground, that's your standard. It may not be the standard for somebody else. And so
But you
that's
know,
how we see transformation or
But
change.
what I got from what you saying is that for me being here is that I realized is that I was I don't know if I said it before, but I was suffering in silence. So that's where I met. That's where I got stuck at because I didn't tell anyone what I was dealing with. Even
Right.
Z lives with me and Z didn't know what I was dealing with. So because I just felt ashamed, how severe it had gotten. And so by me being able to express it, that's when I started, realizing, how that not I felt like the whole structure and the standard had changed, not just, one thing, but just even being here, it was a good thing.
So
To,
your standards was silent.
right.
Your standard for living was being silent, like hiding what's happening. And a
Yes.
lot of people have that as a standard to protect
Mhm.
themselves or
Yeah.
whatever reason they create, right? And they don't have support because it's actually a fear of rejection,
Yeah.
right? And so then fear of rejection becomes a standard,
Yeah.
right? And so we want to start this conversation today is for us to actually begin to start looking at the standards we're living in quietly that we're not really focusing on as a standard, but it creates our world. That standard creates our world.
Yeah.
It's part of also what you've been, another way of looking at it for everybody, not just Teresa, and including myself. Another way of looking at it is looking at it like, what have you been tolerating, not just of people, but also
Yeah.
yourself.
That's exactly what happened. Is that whatever I allowed, for myself and from others, that I was okay with this behavior because I had gotten so overwhelmed by saying yes to stuff that I just shut down after a while because I should have been saying yes to me, not yes to others, and I didn't really know how to do that well, and so I'm learning that new process. But I'm glad, that I'm listening to you and getting some guidance as how to. Then I started counseling also too. So, like you need counseling, Teresa, because this is not good. And
Shifting
so,
the standard in that area. Good.
yeah,
Not doing it in that area of development, you're developing your mental health. You're shifting the standard by getting the support in that area. And so you
yes,
want to start to look at the other areas, right? That are not moving, that you need to begin to shift your standards in.
yes. Thank you so much.
You're
I love you,
welcome.
sis.
Thank
Have a great day.
you. Thank you. Okay, so I see
Tiffany?
Chantel, we have 3 hands up.
Yeah. So let me know where you want to go, Coach. You want to go
All right, yeah, so
conversation?
let's go to
You have
who?
Theodora, Tiffany, and then Sweetness.
Okay, so Theodora, you have to come off mute.
Let me try to help her. Right. You see the prompt?
Theodora.
Thank
There she
you.
goes. There
I
she
was
goes.
trying to come off of mute. What I'm finding is that I was trying. Okay, what I'm finding is that I think I have to keep reinventing. I get into what do you say, like a kind of a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I have to kind of get myself out of it. Where you get complacent. Like right now, I'm on a thing where I am just trying to straighten up and clean up and move stuff. It's like it's not dirty, but it's just so much stuff. Like I've been in the same place like 50 years. So it's a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I guess you just get into like I guess a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to
All your patterns are standards for living.
okay.
All of our patterns are standards for living. They produce something, which produces the standard, the bar, right? And it's not
Okay.
about higher or lower, but it's like, okay, this is the bar. And so when you falling into being comfortable, right? Like being comfortable, it can get into a level of like your standard, being like I'm comfortable, right? And you can fall into that being the standard of your life, just being comfortable. That could become your new standard for living. Like sometimes your nervous system, you went through a whole lot and you need a break and you need to be comfortable. But then that being comfortable becomes your standard of living and you didn't even see it, right? It just like happened over the years. But it's because you made being comfortable your standard for living, right? And
Yeah,
so
I understand what you're
today,
saying. Yeah,
that's what we're looking at. We're looking at our patterns and our habits and how those patterns and habits became our standard for living.
yeah.
So thank you, Theodora, for sharing.
Thank you.
Who's next?
All right, we have Tiffany, then Sweetness.
Good morning, everyone. So when you were discussing just now the school that went up in the projects, it made me think about back in the mid 90s, early 2000s, with the increase of charter schools opening in New York City. And all of the parents wanted their kids to go to charter schools because the standard in public schools was subpar. Like it was the teachers, but and the way that they taught, but above all else, it was the other students, right? The other students are distracted in the classrooms, the other students are this, that, next, and another. And what my observation became was, since charter schools are done on a lottery system, those same kids that you were trying to get your kid away from, the disruptive kid, the child with no home training, the air quote ghetto parents and all those stuff, their kids ended up in the charter schools too. And so the standard that you were trying to get away from, this subpar standard, trickled into the charter schools as well. So for me, what it becomes is when everybody wants to get away from the bad element or the low standard, not realizing sometimes they are the bad element and the low standard. And all they're doing is transferring their energy from one place to the next because they're
Oh,
not dealing with
the
themselves.
low standard is in the curriculum of how you so let's say in Japan, right? In Japan, starting from kindergarten, they teach children, before they teach them math, before they teach them English, they teach them manners. They teach them mindfulness. They teach them consideration. So no
Mm-hmm.
matter where you're coming from, poverty or wealth, you're going to learn in this kindergarten class, kindergarten, first grade, and it becomes part of the standard of education. This is why Japan is
Mm-hmm.
so clean, because they're starting from the root. Their standard for teaching children comes from not, yes, they're gonna evidently they're going to learn math and English and everything else they need to learn. But what matters to them is the character of the country, the standard of the country. So that is a mandatory thing when you're in Japan, and how kids are taught. They're taught from the beginning mindfulness. They're taught from the
Mm-hmm.
beginning consideration. And that is the standard, that's the bar that Japan sets for its country.
Yeah.
But thank you for bringing that up, right? Just so people can start to understand you are in the power of your standards. Thank you, Tiffany. Sweetness.
Yes, peace and blessings, beautiful. What came up for me when you was sharing your story with your brother, when you talked about the structure, right, staying the same. And so this morning when I was getting up, Queen, I wasn't feeling pain, right? And I had been feeling pain for a long time in my body because I was not well. The body was with disease. And so, and I was questioning, I was like, wow, I can move around in the bed and don't feel pain, and just saying, so I attached myself to the structure, but then I attached my mindset to my perception of a thing, right? That I'm entitled to feel well and that there was some things I need to do to get there. So I've made significant changes in my life as far as what I eat and how I move, how much I move. So
That's amazing. That's amazing, because you started to shift the standard in your mind and not let pain be the standard of your life.
different, and so my standard of existing is different now,
That is that
right?
is a perfect segue for what we're about to jump into.
Oh, cool. Glad I could help.
Thank you for that contribution. And so now we are going to watch the video. It is 3 minutes long. Please get your notepads out, because you are going to want to write down some of the things that our king, Neville Goddard, is sharing in this video. It's extraordinary. And then we'll jump into the discussion. There's no sound.
Oops, 1 second. Um,
That's interesting because it
More
plays.
There you go.
validated by others.
Sorry, it was on my
Act
computer.
as if you are the prize. Not someday. Not when you become richer, more successful, more validated by others. Not when you receive their approval, their applause, or their attention. Now, in this moment, in this breath, you must begin to move through life with the silent knowing that you are the treasure. Because the truth is, you always have been. You were not placed here to chase after what already belongs to you by divine right. You were not made to beg for love, for recognition, for respect. These things are yours to the degree that you assume they are. The world reflects what you accept as true. And if you accept lack, you get lack. If you accept unworthiness, you are shown unworthiness. But when you accept your value as undeniable, you will not be able to escape the evidence of that worth. You'll see it in the eyes of others. You'll hear it in the way they speak your name. You'll feel it in the quality of your experiences. And yet none of that creates your value. It only confirms the truth you already dared to believe. Stop entertaining thoughts of competition. There is no competition when you are the standard. You are not here to outperform, outshine, or outrun anyone else. You are not an echo of someone else's glory. You are the original. The first thought of something rare and beautiful. You do not exist to be chosen. You are the chooser. You do not need to awaken to it. And once you do, life itself rearranges to honor that awareness. You don't need to demand loyalty, attention, or affection from others. When you know you are the prize, you don't chase, you attract. You don't force, you magnetize. The energy you carry is the invitation. The belief you hold is the signal. And the truth you embody becomes the reality you experience. So walk into every room as if your presence is a gift. Speak as if your words carry weight. Think as if your thoughts shape the fabric of reality, because they do. You were not born to shrink to fit the mold others have made for you. You were born to expand, to rise, to become the full embodiment of the power you've always carried within. There is nothing to fix. There is nothing missing. You are not a work in progress. You are a masterpiece waking up. The doubts, the fears, the wounds, they do not define you. They are simply shadows that vanish the moment you stand in the light of your own awareness. Act as if you are already seen, already act as if you are the prize.
Act as if you are the prize. And so that is the new standard. And so if you act as if you are the prize, then you can see in every area where you are not acting as though you are the prize, and how the distinct difference of standard of at being the prize and believing that you need somebody else to validate your prize. There is a gap between being the prize and having other people validate that you are the prize. And these are two different standards of living and seeing and being in the world. And so what the universe does is the universe is obedient to your assumption about either one. So it is, if you believe and not just believe, you know that you are chosen and you are the prize, right? Then the universe is obedient to that frequency. If you believe that you have to receive validation first to believe that you are the prize, then the universe is obedient on giving it and taking it away, because it is dependent. This standard is dependent on others. It's dependent on people outside of yourself, right? And this standard is where we get lost. This is the standard where we struggle and we suffer because we don't know that we were already chosen and we are the prize. We are in this world and this standard waiting on the validation of others to confirm that we are the prize, whether it's others or whether it's a accomplishment. Like once I accomplish this, then I'm the prize. Once I buy the house, or once I make the money, or once I get to 100 and whatever pounds, then I'm the prize, right? And that is where we struggle. And the universe is obedient to either standard. And so from the video, what did you get? Let's go. Raise hands. Let's engage. Let's raise the bar. Let's raise the standard back and wake up everybody. What you get out of that video? I'll wait.
Well, I need that in my life every day.
Theodora. No.
Well, we're not gonna just unmute and jump into it. You gotta wait for Chantel to.
Theodora, Rachel, and then Teresa, you can put your hand up.
Okay.
What I got out of that is that, yeah, I'm worthy and I am the prize. I would like to listen to that again. So
I sent Chantel the link. So Chantel, I sent it to your text message, Shan, so you can put the link into the link of the original video. Video, I think, is 2 hours long or hour and 50 minutes long.
it would probably be worth listening to.
It is.
It's, I guess I struggled with that. And one of the things that Wake Up did for me, and I try to always make sure that I come on when you're on because you make me think. And it has changed my thinking. Sometimes you don't realize that you don't feel that you're worthy. But when you go back and you look and you think about, and it's things that have been
So
ingrained.
let me interrupt you a little bit, Theodora. So that thought of I'm not worthy, right? That thought is an assumption about yourself.
Right.
And so when there are many other people on this line that believes that I'm not worthy or had that belief, right? And what that does for the universe is that the universe gives you circumstances, right, to grow out of that belief. But it's rubbing up against, it's what Buddhists call Shoten Zenjin, which is like a Brillo. It's like your nemesis, right? It's rubbing up against, it's not testing you. I want you to get that whether you believe in God, whoever you believe in, whether you believe in the universe, it's not testing you. What it's doing is projecting what you already believe, right? To see, are you going to continue to choose that? Or are you going to change the standard and choose something else? It's not testing you. I'm going to say it again. God is not testing you.
Oh, I know that.
The universe is not testing you. It's your own projection of what you believe, right? This is not just for you. This is for everybody in the community. It's what you believe. It is a reflection of what you believe is true. And so it's reflecting back to you to see, oh, are you going to choose that again? That conversation called I'm not worthy? Oh, okay. Then let's just, she's choosing it, or he's choosing it again. Okay, so let's just give a little bit more. Let's just keep projecting it until she chooses something else, or he chooses something else. So it's our mirror. All of our complaints, discomfort, unwellness is the mirror that is from the core of what we believe or know or assume about ourselves. It's an assumption about ourselves. So I'm glad you got that.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So
Yes.
this video, if you watch the whole thing, you are going to understand how your assumptions and how your, because one, you make an assumption about ourselves. We all make an assumption about ourselves. And then we we add a dash of conviction with it by agreeing that's true.
Mm.
So we make the assumption, I'm not worthy, and then we add conviction as though that is true, which is an agreement that that is true. And once we agree, then the universe agrees. Like, I agree that's true. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Who's next?
Rachel?
Yes. I always love to hear you, Meika. Good morning and blessings,
Good
everybody.
morning.
So yeah, you're always for me at least, your confirmation. And recently I had and I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but I want to read exactly what that video said. I kind of spoke to just the other day at an event that we had. And what I wrote is, I heard God say it's in the surrender. So now I live differently. I breathe deeper. I listen more. I speak with purpose. I no longer need to be seen to know I matter. I no longer need to be understood to walk in my truth. I know who I am. And when you know who you are, you stop begging to be chosen. You stop chasing what's never meant for you. You learn to let go with grace. Now I see clearly every heartbreak, every betrayal, every delay, it all had a purpose and has a purpose, and it didn't break me, it built me, because my purpose was never about perfection. It has always been about truth, about being real, about healing out loud. I'm a living breathing reminder that you can be shattered and still whole, that you can fall apart and still rise, that you can feel everything without being defined by it. I am no longer broken by what I feel, but I am built by what I've survived, and I stand here not perfect but powerful, not finished but free, still healing, still growing, still becoming, but now fully, authentically, and apologetically free. So that was part of what I had wrote. And
Girl, that was the whole kit and caboodle, okay? Let's go. Fire emojis, fire emojis. Yes, that was awesome. That was
Rachel has,
beautiful. What a declaration. What
Rachel
a
has given
new
us like
standard.
2 to 3 written pieces the last 2 weeks. We're gonna need you to do a writing session or something. Bring it out of all of us, Rachel.
You know,
Thank you. And
you
it's like
know.
right off the cuff, like
You know?
freestyling. Thank you, Rachel.
Yes,
We
thank
have
you. Thank you for
Teresa.
sharing that.
Yeah, we have Teresa, Laura, then Sweetness.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. What I realized in being home is that I have said yes to people that I should have not said yes. And I was upset with myself because I said yes and I didn't have the courage to say I don't want to do that anymore. And so I've been getting I started doing that and I've been a little nervous about doing it, but I'm miserable. So why would I keep on saying yes to something that I didn't
Well,
understand?
let me tell you something. One of the things that I'm gonna say is lying to ourselves and lying to others has become the standard of living. Lying has become the standard for living. And we don't call it lying. What we call it, what lying has been cosplaying as is the real reason. Oh, this is the real reason why I do this. Oh, this is the reason why I do that. Oh, this is the reason. We're lying. Oh, I stayed because of da da da. I eat this because blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. It's
Mhm.
all lies to our true selves.
That's true.
And so lying to ourselves has become a standard of living. Like, we have normalized our reasons, and then our life becomes a litany of just reasons. And then we become reasonable, and we're underneath that is lies.
Yes,
We're just lying.
it's true.
When you
and
tell
I've been
somebody yes to something and you really in your heart means no, you're lying.
yes,
And then that becomes the standard because you don't want the conflict, or you
yes.
don't want the consequence that, how they're going to react,
Right.
right?
It also had to do with sister. What Rachel said is that a part of me was taught that that was okay to lie, but then I just went along, and then what I realized is that mommy being home, by my, dealing with myself by myself, I realized is that, girl, you've been miserable for a long time, and it's like not being around people, not doing stuff. It made me realize like how much I did it, and to what degree I did it, and so that's where I think that's what made me just get just couldn't function. Like I literally just wasn't functioning in here, couldn't get out of bed, sick, everything, and just like my mind was just like,
But
what
what I
the hell
want
did
you
I
to
do to
get, because
myself?
what you're talking about is like what happened. What I want
Yes,
you to get is like, I'm seeing my standard and I'm seeing how I have treated myself and I'm
yes,
creating a new standard for myself.
yes.
Like
That's what I'm doing.
that's where I want you to get to.
I am creating a new standard for myself, and I'm loving it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Teresa.
Yes, thank you so much, dear. I love you. Have a great day.
Who else? Sweetness, unmute.
Sweetness. Yeah. And then Laura, did she want to go?
Yeah,
No.
I did see Laura's hand as well.
Yes, sorry, I'm having connection problems. So, greetings. Thank you so much, Mika.
Hi, Laura. How are you?
Hey, good Grand Rising. So happy you're here. Because I'm getting
You.
these messages for like 2 weeks now that I am the chooser, and whatever I choose is reflected back to me. So I like the part about I am not a work in progress because I'm already a masterpiece. But I've had issue with that, and that was a favorite statement of mine. Oh, I am a work in
And so
progress.
the universe keeps giving you more stuff to work on.
Yes, yes, because and recently I was told to stop saying it, but the person didn't go into details. And I'm like, but I'm working on myself. I'm working on healing. I am not there yet. So you see, I keep, as I say, attracted more of I am not there yet because
Right.
I do not see myself
Right. So it's
as
like
the
if
prize.
this is the destination, it's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not there yet because I'm being derailed and I got to go down here and you never get here, right? And so I would say, there is no mountaintop, right? Because life is about just navigating life, right? But it's not that I am not the masterpiece. Like life is going to life. And
Right.
I I want to have the tools to navigate through it. Right? I don't want to be on the mountain without the tool, the pick to actually pull myself up, right? I don't want to be on the mountain without my snacks and the things that I need to sustain myself. And so, like, who wants to be on the mountain without snacks? I want to be able to navigate through life and healthy and wise. However, it doesn't change that I am still the masterpiece, no matter what I'm navigating through.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a new standard or a new context to see it as. I am the masterpiece on the mountain, at sea, whatever it is that I'm doing, whatever challenges that I am navigating through, I'm still the masterpiece.
I got it. It's like I would say, I'm spirit, I'm God, I'm pure, I'm energy. But then I'm going to go through the ish regardless of what. But I'm already perfect, whole, and complete. I got it.
That's it. That's
I
it.
got it. Thank
That's
you. Thank you, Meika.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're
Thank you.
welcome. And so, I want people, oh, Sweetness, Sweetness unmute because your hand is still up. Okay, so we're gonna move on. So, Chantel, before I even move on, the
Yeah.
chat, what's going on?
Oh, I was gonna say we should get to that. It's jumping. Let me go all the way back. All right. What do we have here? Um, so Rachel said, I've engaged so much that let me close this. I'm now learning to be in a listening space to give others the room to share. My standards in this life have risen. I want more for myself, and I also want to listen more so I can learn, process, and apply meaningful change. When I feel something that I need to say or share, I'm comfortable enough to jump in. All right.
Awesome.
Asia said, I now desire better things in life: environment, clothes, food, mindset, money, treatment. I'm feeling rich, but my bank account doesn't tell me that I am yet. Well, if you're feeling rich, you're feeling rich. That's your definition of rich. If you're feeling rich in love, rich in people, rich in culture, rich in all the things you're doing, that's rich.
There you
Not just
go.
dollar signs.
There you
All
go.
right. Jackie Lynn said, we used to have character education in school, and it was led by leadership of this country, and that has changed. In the early 2000s, it was reintroduced as if it was a new thing. Someone wrote a book, developed a curriculum, and then sold it to the schools as if it were a new thing. It's a constant circle of regurgitation. Let's see. Oh, I dropped the link in the chat. I'll drop it one more time. Here, some people asking for that.
That link is for the entire video.
Yeah, we only played 3 minutes.
We only paid 3 minutes of it. I think it's an hour and 50.
Let me see. Is it? Oh yeah, it's not a link to the 3 minutes. So yeah, sorry. Let me see. The link. Okay, that's what I'm coming right. Oh, into life. Sorry. Thank you. This one shift magnetizes your manifestation to you. This is a guided meditation that Tiffany dropped in the chat. Hey, good morning, Paven. Let's see. Purple said, yes, Rachel, writing or just read to us. Read one of your masterpieces, girl. Let's see what else we have. I used to punish myself too, Teresa. Rachel said, it's okay for us to choose happiness. Teresa said, I am the masterpiece. And Jackie said, you just have to see it. And then Tiffany agreed with me. That's right, Shan. Rich isn't about finances and money, it's about a mindset. Ashe.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So one of the things that we do is we betray. We have a standard of light and love and connection and companionship, and we know what we desire, and we betray that desire, and we settle for something else, right? It could be because of convenience, it could be because of many, many different reasons, right? And you want to start to see the reasons, all the reasons why you betray your dignity, why you betray your dream, why you betray your commitment, right? Why you betray your inner child. So I was somebody that I've known for a very long time passed away. And I was at I guess he was planning his own birthday roast before he passed away. And so the family decided to continue to have the roast. And I went to the roast, which was amazing, right? It was funny. We had a great time. And I got triggered. My inner child got triggered. And it wasn't a child, it was my inner 29-year-old self got triggered. And by the past. And the past showed up. And I realized while I was triggered that I never allowed my 29-year-old to mourn what she went through from 29 to probably like 46, right? And that's 16, 17 years, 46, 47. And that 29-year-old had to grind. She had her children she had to raise. She was in a relationship that wasn't giving her what she desired, right? But she thought, let me stay because this is going to be, I'm going to make it work, right? That was her ideology. I'm going to make it work. And so even though everything in her bones said that it won't work, she betrayed that truth with a reason. The reason was, I don't want to do this alone. I love him. I love these kids and the convenience. So the reasons, right, had me compromise the truth because the truth was right there. It didn't hide from me. The universe did not disguise it. The truth was there. And so where now I'm 51 now and I'm at this roast and I'm triggered by my past. And I was in the car with a friend and I was sharing with them that I was triggered and they wanted to comfort me, but in a way that gets me evolved, right? Like, and we're Landmark graduates, so it was like, let's use a distinction, right? Let's break through this, whatever this upset is. And I said, no. I said, I'm not going to distinction this away. I was like, I'm not betraying her. I have betrayed my 29-year-old. I have betrayed my teenager. They have been screaming at me and I've betrayed them. So betrayal is not just about betraying your standards today. It's also betraying that wound or that voice, right? That wants to express that it was hurt, that it was impacted, that it chose this. And so what I've done is shamed my 29-year-old. I don't shame my teen and my inner child, right? That little girl. I don't shame them. But that 29-year-old, I shame because you should know better. You should get over it. You should be stronger. You did blah, 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 blah. We passed that. Like we've grown, we've evolved. Blah, blah, blah. So I don't have time because we got things to do. We got things to build. We got people to transform. So I don't have time for your pain or your upset. And this was the first time that I said, no, I'm not betraying her. I'm not shaming her and I'm not betraying her. And the next day I bawled out. I just cried. I allowed her to cry. I allowed her to tell every ugly truth, every ugly lie that she was sharing, that she was holding on to and would not tell anybody. I brought it into engagement where I called a coach and I was on the phone and I just let it all out. And I cried all day to the point where they were like, your eyes are completely swollen. But that 29-year-old needed that cry. That 29-year-old needed to unzip and undone and then by me doing that, I got to see what she believes about herself. Because here 51-year-old Meika is out trying to create, but 29-year-old Meika believes something and it's in the subconscious. So as I'm trying to manifest this thing, the 29-year-old has this assumption and agreement about herself. This is why these things can't manifest. And so by me giving that 29-year-old voice, I got to hear in real time what she assumes and what she has agreed to about who she is, which is not true, right? Because the 29-year-old did not believe that she's a masterpiece. 51-year-old does, but not that 29-year-old. And so as you're trying to create, it's like a truck, like side swiping you, right? Because it's like, no, that's scary. What 51-year-old Meika is trying to create, that is scary. That might hurt us, right? And so your inner children also have standards that could be because you don't give it voice, you don't allow them to speak, you don't allow them to tell the ugly truth, right? You try to tool it away and, be evolved about it. It's like, no, that is juicy information, like juicy information, because it's telltale on what you have been putting out to the universe subconsciously. So from what I'm sharing, what has opened up or what's opening up, and I want to hear from some people that haven't shared, just from my share about betraying my inner child and how the standard of living that I've been living in by betraying them. Hello, engagement. I'll wait.
All right. Are you complete, Meika?
Uh-huh.
All right. We have Sweetness and Jackie.
So I'm going to go with Jacqueline because Sweetness shared and her hand's been up for a while and she didn't come off of mute.
Okay, yeah, I'll lower it again. Hold on.
Good
Jackie?
morning, Meika. Good
Good
morning.
morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Ooh, this is tough. Because we just had this conversation yesterday, and I'm still going through it. I discussed how I was feeling about my children, the youngest two, and me being very angry with them because I felt like they were disrespectful and not adhering to my standards. And you made it clear to me that my anger is not coming from me as this 63-year-old. This anger is coming from me as that 26 and 30-year-old who had these children and had these expectations. And I'm angry at the sacrifices that I made and the fact that they would have the nerve to disrespect me at this point. And then you reminded me that I'm a woman before I was a mother. And they don't see me that way. They see me as mommy. And I feel like sometimes like I'm this doormat that they can wipe their feet on and I'm gonna love them anyway because I'm their mother.
Right.
And that is where my anger comes from. It's like, how dare you feel that way about me? But then you didn't remind me too that I have a mother. And that with my mother, I wasn't seeing her as a woman. So I was holding stuff against her because I'm like, you're the mother, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that, you're supposed to be this way, and you didn't do this and you didn't do that. And even though I've gotten to this point where I've forgiven her for a lot of things, from that conversation yesterday, what I got was I haven't forgiven her for all of those things because it still causes me some anger when I think about it. And I think about her as a mother and making these decisions as a mother. I don't think of her as this woman who had needs. And I
Who
just
had
don't.
needs who didn't get met. Not just
Yes.
needs, but
Yes.
needs that did not get met.
Right, right. And I'm carrying forth her stuff with me. And so, yeah, that's my next area to dismantle, so to speak, and to uncover or wipe the dust off my masterpiece because that's definitely shading me a little bit. And I'm complete. I
Well,
just want
one
to
of the
go.
things that we talked about, Jackie, yesterday was about, you know, these are all agreements too. Like if you agree that your mother it didn't do the best, she could have been da da da, she needed to make different choices, she blah blah blah. All of those agreements also reflect you.
Yes, and my kids are doing
Right.
the
And
same.
so as we are judging that source that we came from, we are judging ourselves simultaneously. We think it's different. We think we're
Yeah,
just judging them, right? But it's not. We're also simultaneously judging them. because we are from them. So it's like when life is going bad and life is going wrong, and instead of taking the accountability of what's happening in the moment, what we tend to do is look back and be like, it's going wrong because you made those messed up decisions. If you made different decisions, Ma, I would be a different person.
Oh, yeah. Why did you have to just go and just and like uncover my lie like that?
That's what I do. I'm a pro at it because I'm uncovering my own, right? And so that's where we struggle. And so I thank you for your vulnerability and sharing that in this community today and engaging in that, because I'm looking at the chat and people, it's opening up things for people as well, because then that becomes the standard of your life. I'm mad at my mother ain't blah 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 blah, blah, blah. That's another standard. So
Yeah.
the universe is like, okay,
Well,
that's great.
thank you for this opportunity for engagement, because I found, and what, the answer to the question earlier about why has our standard changed in woo, I know that I sometimes feel like I've talked about stuff over and over again, and I feel like people are tired of hearing it. This is me in my mind.
That's
And I
another assumption and
yes,
agreement. Uh-huh.
yeah, and I hold back because of, like, I don't want to keep, like Rachel said, I don't want to keep monopolizing the conversation or dominating the expression on this in this group. And so I sit back and I'm sitting on my hands because I'm just waiting for somebody else to come through. That's
No,
what it
thank
is.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Jackie. And so I'm going to pause for a second because it's 8 o'clock and I know some of you have to go. And, if you have to go, thank you for your listening. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for engagement. And please watch the playback. Come back, watch the playback, get my information. If you want to have a one-on-one session with me about your particular standards, like Jackie did, right? About how your standards are interfering in your life. And we can have that one-on-one conversation. So definitely thank you. Come back, watch the playback on Facebook, and let's continue to rock. So who else do we have? And thank you, Jackie, for that level of vulnerability.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Estacia. I think we have Chantel, we have Kaisha. Kaisha, you could just unmute.
Yes.
Good
Uh,
morning.
um, Good morning. Haven't seen you in a while, so I'll show my face.
Oh,
Yes. So going back to, I posed him the question: what is the difference between settlement versus compromise?
same
I
thing. They
and he was,
cousins.
because I'm trying to stick with what your topic about your inner child. And here's my example. I went to a dinner where we had prompted questions, to talk around the table, and I made it was about, like, what were we into, and I said, well, I'm an only child, and I learned how to cook early or whatever. And so a lot of people at the table was like, oh, I couldn't tell that you was the only child. And I said, well, what does the only child look like? And they were just saying, only children are selfish. They don't compromise. um it's hard for them to comprehend other people's thoughts and opinions. And my one of my good friends is a therapist, and she says, yeah, I don't see only child in you. So I explained to the table, I said, well, I'm also the product of a single mother. So I learned early how to compromise. I had to compromise her time. When she worked in Manhattan and I went to school in Brooklyn, so she couldn't make the school plays or the school functions. Or I was a latchkey kid, so I opened the door. I went home by myself, so I had to compromise. So I felt like early on we learned to we me. I'm sorry, me. I learned to compromise. That just manifested into teenage years, and adulthood.
That became the standard.
The compromise, yes, like, so that's why I asked the question. um when you was talking about your, I guess your cousin, you was giving those examples of the lady, when she settled, oh well, the kids are here, she settled, well, the finances are straight, I'm just gonna stay, or I'm gonna, are we settle, is that settling, or are we compromising for the better of other people? I just think as
No,
a child,
either
I
way, you are betraying what the lady is me. So
sorry, I was
either
trying to
way,
follow. I'm going to have to watch it again. I was trying to follow, and I was like, is she
yeah,
talking about a
either
family member?
way,
Talking about
the,
herself. So, okay.
I betrayed a truth. So the universe showed me clearly unworkability, right? And I said, no, I'm going to make it work. So I betrayed a truth that was shown to me. I can't deny that. I can't lie about that. I knew very clearly that it was unworkable. And I can say that now. That 29-year-old would be like, no, because we were going right. Everything was blah, blah, blah. My kids were safe and blah, blah, blah. And then like, you see how you jump into the reason, like, oh no, it's because of this. It was because, and the because, and the because, right? And you get lost in that framework of your reasoning. Like, this is the reason. This is the reason my income looks like this. This is the reason, da, da, da. This is the reason. That's the reason. And no, that's the reason. Now this is the reason, right? Versus telling the truth. Like, because I grew up fixing things, right? I grew up like you. I was a latchkey kid. I was an adult since I was 5. I've been responsible since I was 5, right? On the bus in Brooklyn, hold it, right? With my little token, putting it in the thing. I felt proud to do it, right? But I was a little adult. And so I had to fix things for myself because my mom wasn't available. She was working, but I had to do things for myself. And that became a standard of my life. And because I had to be resourceful very early, very young, I became misresourceful. That became the standard of me getting love. What can I do for my mother to receive attention and love? And then that became the standard of how I dealt with everybody in my life. Right? Doing, being resourceful, right? Like, you can't tell me that you got a nose ache. I'm gonna have the information of where you could go to go understand how to deal with that little nose ache. Like, you got a sprained nose muscle. I'm gonna find the source of that and give it to you, because that has been the standard of my living and receiving love, is in the doing. Now, that's not external. That's not people, like, my ego wants to say it's people doing it, but it's been my way, my path of receiving love. It's still unworkable.
Still workable.
It's still unworkable, right? It was appropriate. That's what I needed to do to survive as a child. It is not appropriate at 51. It wasn't appropriate at 29, because my kids were impacted by those choices. Right? And then compromise became the standard. Being relatable became the standard. Being understanding became I had to understand my mom had to work. I had to understand that she didn't have the capacity to give me. I had to understand that when she was angry. I had to be understanding of everything.
Oh my God, I hate that. People would, when I complained, therapists, I'm a big sister, big brother program, big sister. Well, you got to understand where she's coming from. Do I?
And so that is the voice that you need to hear, so you can understand that whatever age that was, like, That is the voice you need to hear so you can actually understand that age perspective, because it's getting in the way of what you're trying to create. Each age has a different perspective. How you got hurt as a child, how you got hurt as a teen, and how you got hurt as a young adult all got hurt differently. But we don't allow them the space or the voice. And so, you know, I've had Sabel Nunez on my show probably like maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, and she works with, and some of my clients, I always send my clients to her, and she's worked with my clients to actually give space and give voice to those inner children, so you can actually hear how they're interrupting your manifestations. Because they have a belief system, they have an agreement system, they believe things about themselves and they believe things about the world. Even though you're whatever age you are now and you pop in living out in the world, in that subconscious, they have a belief system. And so we have been betraying our inner child and their voice, our inner children and their voice. And so when they pop up and they want to flip tables, right? People are like, what is happening? Who is that? That's because you never gave them voice.
May pop. Okay. Yeah. You're right. Yes. So thank you. Yes.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, you're welcome.
That took us in a whole different space, but it's great. That's it. It was perfect. Anyone else?
Sweetness, are you able to come off mute now?
Yeah, something must have happened with my internet. I didn't hear you guys calling for me. So thank you, Queen, for answering the call to your 29-year-old. Thank you so much. I feel empowered by you sharing that. And one thing my mother used to say to me, you're too old for that. And when she said that, Meika, it cut me at my kneecaps, it cut me in my core. And just the way she said what she said to me, the way I heard what she said to me, I could feel it running through my veins even today when you shared that. Is you too old for that? And I'm connecting how that message that I received from her that kind of governs or directs my behavior from that. However, liberated and renewed, I feel, from the last time you were here, right after the last time you were here. I looked at that clip that you showed us today, and I came across it on YouTube, and I was listening to it, and I embraced that I am the prize, right? Rachel, we tell you, Rachel and I talk on the phone, and I've been saying that and ingesting that, and I went
That's right.
ahead
I
and
did mention it the last time I was here. I just didn't have the video, but yes, I did.
yes, you mentioned it, right? And so I took it, and then I get to see this video. So I get excited when stuff like that happens. So I saw the video and been embracing it. You know, it takes a minute to ingest certain things, and so I've been embracing it. And I threw it back out there. And so that is eliminating quite a few people from in my circle because of my thinking like that. I'm like, if you knew who you were talking to, you wouldn't be saying that. And I said, more importantly, I know who I am today. So I am the prize in any relationship. And so they had to get to stepping. I didn't kick them to the curb. I just announced who I am now today. So I wanted to share that with the community. So thank you so much for what you
You're
dropped.
welcome. You're
Please,
welcome.
please know it landed on good soil and ain't no weeds growing over here.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I have this note, and I always have notes, you know, here on my table as I go through my sessions. And so what this is a note of the framework that we live within, right? And so this framework becomes your standards, right? And so when you go to any kind of frame store, you can have a little, a mini frame, right? You can have a 3x5, a 5x7, an 8x10, 11 by 14, and it keeps going up. And as large as frames in the museum, right? Or art that's like literally that is frameless, that doesn't have a frame. And so the framework that we live in is our standard. And so it depends on how small you've made your standards, right? And so it's like this framework, this could be, I live in this frame of my reasons, my beliefs, my convictions, my pride, my fear of consequence. You could live in the framework of inconvenience and your righteousness, right? And if you're in the frame, any frame, other than it being frameless, you are still restricted by the frame, right? So you want to begin to start to see and look at what frame have you been living in, because that is your standard. That frame is your standard. And so if you've been living in the frame of just your reasons and your beliefs, your negative beliefs about yourself, your convictions about like, no, I this is how it is. And your pride, your ego, your fear of consequences. This is the framework. And so when we feel stuck, it's because we are living our standard inside of the frame. And so to live outside of the frame, right? One would have to be spontaneous, right? Spontaneous joy, creativity, support, asking for support. That's breaking out of the frame because it's something new. It's a new world when you ask for support. It's a new world when you tap into your creativity and you create something from nothing. It becomes a new world. It's outside of the framework, right? What's outside of the framework? Fulfillment. When you actually are fulfilling on something that you said you were going to do, and you're actually fulfilling on the things that you love and you desire. I love going to the movies. I fulfill on that, right? Versus staying home and watching it on Netflix. New beginnings. Like some people are scared of new beginnings, but a new beginning is a new world, and it lives outside of your own framework. Vulnerability crashes the frame. Vulnerability is the breakout of the frame because your vulnerability allows your true authenticity. And your vulnerability is not your complaint. Your vulnerability is not your concerns. Your vulnerability is your true authenticity. It is your heart. It is your heart open. And so many people are scared of vulnerability, but baby, that's where the sugar is. And vulnerability and freedom. Freedom breaks out of living inside of this tiny ass frame, right? And so you want to start to see how you've been living inside of a frame of life, how you've been shrinking your life by not engaging. And one of the things because you got to engage in all of this, everything outside of the frame. I mean, you engage in everything inside the frame, right? But this stuff that's outside the frame, creativity, vulnerability, it can feel very scary for you. And so, but it creates a new world once you break out of that, right? And so engagement, I just saw this study on the brain and how engagement, when you engage in things that you do not want to do, right? It's scary, and you engage and you raise your hand and you go for the walk or you go for the run or you try the new exercise or you get rid of the sugar or you engage and you introduce yourself to somebody new or talk to somebody new. When you engage in things that you don't want to do, what it tells your brain is that you have the will to live. And your brain grows stronger. With every engagement, it tells your brain that you still want to live. Your lack of engagement tells your brain that, meh. maybe. I'm comfortable. And that is a huge breakthrough for brain activity and what's happening to people. Because after 2020, after COVID, we've lost a lot of engagement. It kind of like it shifted how we engage with people, how we entertain ourselves, how we party. You know, like if you follow me on Facebook, you know I love a good time. And even though I love a good time, I'm in these venues and I'm seeing people not engage, right? And so sometimes I feel like the wild child because I'm like, what? Have a good time. I don't care. I'm gonna have a good time. And a hole in the wall. And sometimes I feel like, oh my goodness, everybody's looking at me. However, that is telling my brain that I want to live. So my brain goes do 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 do, and it starts strengthening and starts growing. Lack of engagement. Lack of engagement tells your brain something totally different. So we definitely got to look at how we're engaging and the level of standards we're living in. That tells you also how you're engaging. And so I see a hand raised, Desiree, purple. So Desiree, come off mute, beautiful.
Good morning, good morning, good
Oh my
morning. I know it's been like forever. So what came up for me was when you used the word, oh my gosh, it escaped my mind. My perimenopause is kicking butt this morning.
Magnesium, boo, magnesium.
The word that I'm thinking about is just like the courage to express how you feeling without fear.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Like
So
the
I'm gonna
fear
just give
of
the definition.
like the fear of consequence.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of the word, but I know what the word means. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna give you the definition for now. So it made me think about being vulnerable. That's the word. Okay. So it made me think about earlier in this year, I have a group of friends that they always do things with each other. You know, like they always do things together. Every now and again, I would join in on what they're doing, but not always. So earlier in the year, we went on a trip and I took two of the people that I'm most closest with and told them that one of the reasons why I don't come around as often as I would like to is fear of rejection because we're not all the same. You know, like the way I show up, it is different from the way that some of them show up. And sometimes I do look at them and feel like I wish I had the courage to have that level of freedom. But what I started to realize, it's not that I didn't have freedom, it's just not who I am, you know, and being okay with the fact that that's not who I am because they were. They knew that I was not the jump up, you know, like screaming, getting on top of tables kind of person. They accepted me. They always wanted me to be around. They always continued to invite me, but the invitation stopped because I stopped coming, not because they were rejecting me.
Right.
Right.
So you see your projection came out into reality, right? And so what you were thinking about, where you pull yourself away, right? And then it was like, okay, I pull myself away, so no longer are the invitations going to come because she's
right.
coming anyway. Like, why make that effort?
Right. Right.
But it came from your own projection.
Yeah. Yeah. And once I expressed that to them, number one, they were extremely surprised because they were like, I would have never thought that you thought that. I thought you didn't come just because either you had some other things to do or you know, you just didn't want to. So that having that conversation with them transformed our relationship.
Right. And it created a new standard for the
Right.
relationship.
Right.
So that's why we have to listen to our insecurities. Like, what is it really saying? And tell the truth. Because lying to say that I'm not insecure, that's a lie.
Yeah.
Your inner children have major insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lie. And so that's why I said lying has become a standard.
Right.
And we
I would.
cosplay it as, oh no, that's the reason. You see, like you was like, oh no, the reason is because I'm not blah, blah, blah. I don't dance on tables. But the real reason is that you just were in your own head,
Yeah.
was scared of rejection.
Mm-hmm. And they
that
were not expecting me to be them. They were
right,
expecting me to
to
be
be
me.
you. Right.
So,
So you
and
see how it works,
yeah,
right? We have to do
absolutely.
that work and you betray the truth of what you want to participate, but the fear of not being like them, which is a comparison, which is in the video. You don't
Right.
have to chase. You don't have to compare yourself to anybody. You are you. You are one of one. You are the masterpiece. You are one of one. You are the masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to compare what somebody else is doing to what you're doing.
Right.
Thank you
And
for sharing.
you're welcome. And thank you.
Yes, you got to come back, girl. I miss you.
I miss you too.
I miss our conversations.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right, bye now.
Okay, we
Purple?
have purple, and then we are at 8:27. So you let us know where you want to go after that. If you
Sure.
need more time from the community, just let us know.
Hey, coach. Look, I was like,
Hello.
how much I seeing me do my hair? I ain't lying to y'all.
How are you?
I'm okay. This is funny though to do my hair on film. So I think that's what the conversation is led me to. I'm really a person that doesn't. There's some relationship I have with image. Let me tell the truth, right? And what has come up now is my mother is gorgeous, nice looking family. That's my joke. My dad is nice looking guy. My mom is gorgeous. I came out right. So,
That's an assumption.
right. So I could never be pretty like my cousin or even my brother is pretty. So I don't really care about looks.
Right.
That's the lie. That's the truth.
That's a standard.
The standard. And my mom did a great clap back 2 years ago. My family, we were visiting my aunt, rest in peace. And they wanted to take a picture. And I said, nah, I ain't dressed for no pictures. Y'all be posting on Facebook all the time. My mother, my aunt and my mother, pretty girls. Not related too. This is my dad's sister. And my mother looks at me and says, well, you came out the house like that. My aunt said, right. The shade, the clap. And I love that she said that out loud. Like I've come to appreciate that she just gets to speak freely, authentically.
So also what she called out was your belief. Like you the one believing you came out like that because of something that you got going on in your head. You chose those clothes. Right? And so sometimes we will have defiance to our greatness. Right? And my grandmother, she was her mouth. Woo, right? And so some of her children would not dress. Some of them do. Some of them don't care about looking presentable, right? And she would light into them bad. And one day I said to one of them, and I said, from her perspective, remember the washboard that has the ridges?
Mm-hmm. They had
right?
to scrub the clothes.
Right.
Arms and
From her perspective, raising children in the 50s, right? Being presentable kept y'all safe. Right?
Yeah, my mother's family, yep, it didn't tell their business. It was really important.
It was really important to watch. And so she washed everybody's dress. Y'all didn't have a lot of dresses. Y'all didn't have, 14 dresses. Y'all had what you had, and she washed those every night and made sure iron the ribbons for the hair, like things that we don't do today. And like she made sure that, the collars were white, and she boraxed and bleach, whatever it was, right, that she could afford to make sure that y'all were crispy. So for her perspective, when she sees you not care, the woman who had y'all, the young woman who had y'all, and the sacrifices that she made to do that washboard, because with that washboard, that thing will mess your knuckles up.
Right. They
to
look
rub-
good. They look good regardless of what they have. You work
Right.
what you have and you do your best. And I was coming from the AIDS walk. I'm like, come on, man. Y'all like, and
so
is it my best? I betray my
it's
best.
not about the best. It's
What?
about what they're
Or what they
defiant.
believe.
What they believe was that they didn't have much, that they were bums. For her, they were fly. She made those clothes. She washed those clothes, but they believed, because they didn't have more, that they were bums. So that belief keeps projecting itself in the people who don't dress well in the family. Because they come out like t-shirt is dirty or it has a rip. And so for my grandmother's world, for you to come out in a ripped shirt or stained mustard is on the shirt, like in her world, that would collapse her world. And so she was hurt by that you ended up believing what she was trying to prevent. Right? She was trying to bring dignity to a world from the 1950s and racism, and she was trying to prevent you from having a loss of dignity. And in her world, I'm not saying anything was right, but what I'm saying
That
from
was her
her
belief.
perspective,
That
right?
was her belief.
And so a belief to keep you safe. And so when you have the mustard and the ripped shirt and
I ain't had no mustard and ripped shirts coming from the
right,
walk, B.
but it collapses the world
For her. For them.
And for her, and then for them, the belief, like your belief, I'm not pretty. For them, I don't care about clothes, because they didn't have a lot. They disconnected and stopped engaging and caring.
My belief is I can't keep up with this, so I'm not even gonna play.
Right.
That was it. As a New York City 80s, 90s kids, I wasn't putting my mother through buying that. And
I'm not engaging in that.
Yeah, and I like hiking, so I'm like, with the people I'm with, we ain't gotta look. I look like it's fine. I look like the activities I want to be in now, meaning coming from the AIDS walk. That's my belief.
Is it your ultimate truth? Is it the
no?
Is it the
No,
exactly?
no.
So you're betraying.
Yeah.
You're allowing your reasons to betray the truth.
The reasons.
Those are great reasons. I'm from the 80s. I'm da da da. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not putting my mother. That's a great reason. I'm not putting my mother through that. Great reason.
Yeah, I never. I'm not asking her to buy me no Jordans. It's just
right.
like my brothers
Great
got
reason.
the first pair, but I'm like,
great reason.
And that's what I've done. Right, I've accepted. That's the belief that I got after Neville was like. It's still twisted. It's not as clear right now. I'm not clear about the lie yet. I got that I accept the least, right? Because I was hood privilege is what I call it. That might be my workshop, hood privilege. I was hood privileged, and so I played down everything I had. Some of that was survival. Can't from the block of the place I was, could let everybody know so nobody want to come in. But at the same time, for me, what it looked like was at least you got this. At least your mother is. At least you know your father. That's the narrative that I heard most of the time. I couldn't cry, be upset, disappointed, have no low vibration experience because at least I should be grateful. Literally, I'm changing my
signal. Like Kaisha had to be understanding. Like,
yeah,
I gotta understand. Like, I can't express my rage, my upset, my hurt, because at least How can you be mad? You got two parents.
Yeah, it's just coming out now, and it's a lot. Everybody's like, "Yo, B, you bugging," and I'm like, "About time." Like I'm human too. I had bug out in me too, right? Which is not responsible, but that's a whole nother thing where I'm like, I feel better at home since the pandemic, right? But is it? You're making me wonder: is this a disconnect? Is it a safety mechanism? They ain't got to be
Because
around
a
me.
lot of
Got to be
people are
around them.
dealing with brain fog because of their lack of engagement. And so what the study was showing is that after COVID, engagement has changed,
Right.
right? That's clear. But what is happening is that our brains are shrinking because of our lack of engagement, right? And what's happening is we're thinking, oh, it's perimenopause. And what they were saying is that it isn't. It's part of it, but it's a very low percentage. What's happening is that we're not engaging in things that make us uncomfortable. And so our brains are not expanding. We are living in we're only engaging in what's comfortable. That's what happened after COVID.
I tried something new and I freaked out in a way I never saw. Right. I'm learning to row. And my hand was trembling. I freaked out. I was cursing. We on the water. I'm thinking the kids are down there. The kids all hurt me. And I'm just like, you're right. And I was like, what is this? Because I grieved that silence as a kid, though I identify it as trauma. I'm like shut down, not silent. But it was so peaceful to be that quiet and watch the world and pretend and be invisible and act like nobody could see me and hear me. It felt way more peaceful than talkative and social butterflying, if I'm being honest. And I feel like I grieved it. And after the pandemic, I'm like, oh my God, it feels so good to be home. There's a lie there. It feels good to be home. I'm learning how to be an empath, like the energy. I have to take care of myself different before I leave to engage. And that is now a new responsibility that I've been avoiding. I'm like, I don't feel like learning how to do all that. Then I get exhausted, come home, don't want to be around nobody, but then want to bring them back. But then right? It's like I'm driving now, but I peep when I stop driving, I ain't have visitors. So I'm like, oh, if everybody could only see me when I visit them, I'm chilling. Right? I got all these justifications after the pandemic to disengage, is what you helped me see in this.
Awesome.
Thank you, coach.
And
go finish doing my hair.
I'm pretty.
The truth is.
Thank you.
Hey, yo, Geisha, hey.
So we have one more and then we're going to complete. Stacy, unmute. Your hand is up. You have to unmute.
Hi.
Hello.
How y'all doing, beautiful people? Well, I wrote a book in the chat, so I was like, well, they could just read it and she could. What I got from it was that I actually, the more that I wrote, I started to like unravel. That's why it's so great to write, because as I was writing, I was like, wait, I didn't see that if I didn't write like me writing. Anyway, I'm walking down the steps. Okay, so I just want to get present to the standard, like you said about standard, and
You're
what I
breaking
that I
up
have.
because of your movement.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
Did I get cut off?
You did. Mm-hmm.
Okay, here. I'm no longer down the steps. Okay.
So we're at 8:37. Not to rush you, but we got to be
Yes.
swift.
No, so what I just discovered was inside of what I was saying, because I wrote it down so I could just be clear also, so I don't take up time with the blah blah blahs around. So
what you got?
When you were speaking about standards and what we've been accepting, just with the whole conversation, what I got was I'm sorry, that I said in the past I was tolerating my son saying and doing things without me asking him where that behavior comes from. And I would like he'll say something, but he'll walk off because he appears to be dysregulated. Like that's too much. Like it's too much input from him, and I took his behavior as overstimulation, and I would tell myself just let him breathe, and then I would go breathe while I was annoyed and told myself to breathe. Like so, I saw that in doing that, I compromised. I compromised basically me, like what I wanted to say. I was like, if he wasn't autistic or if he wasn't special needs or with somebody else, would I just let them walk off like that, like without having to stop and say, hi, that doesn't work. So finally I actually I was like, I'm not tolerating that. So when he did it the next time, but I said, I saw when I was writing that, I said I see that his father does that also in the past. I've been saying in the past, still in the past, I saw his father do that. So the last time it happened, I called him back into the room and I asked him, what is that? And I was really coming from a place of inquiry. Like I really didn't know, like to say something and rush off. And what is that? And when I finally asked, would you say that to your father? Would you talk to your father that way? And he said, no. And I said, okay. And then I said to him, why not? But I said it in a tone where I was really curious, not like, why not? You know, I was like, why not? And he said, because you don't talk when men are talking. And I said, oh. I said, oops, oops. Because I know people who not on a special needs autism or blah, 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 with those labels who would say that. And I was like,
That
oh.
patriotic.
I said, oh, so now we have a new conversation to have about women, patriarchal views, male chauvinism. So we sat down and we actually had to talk. So I said, I get that you may be frustrated or whatever, and you just walk off, but that doesn't work for me. I said, if you wouldn't speak to your dad like that, then you're not going to speak to me like that or other women in your life because you just walk off. What do you see about that for yourself? And he was like, yeah, I see that it looks like it could be rude, because it's just like, oh, if it's not a man, like, I was like, wow. But
And so
that,
if you didn't stop and say something, you wouldn't got that information. Like if you didn't break out of the frame and
yes,
do something spontaneous and different, which created a new world of understanding where he was coming from and why he does it. And that's what I mean by breaking out of the frame. Like you gotta break out of your reasoning or your fear of consequence, your convictions, your righteousness, right? To actually experience a new world, to create something different
yeah.
with him.
Yeah, and it was good because it wasn't like a snooty, snobby kind of conversation with like anger. It was really like clearing and inquiry. So that was great. But I was just and like now when he's doing that, like he'll stop. I don't react anymore. It takes something, but I get that that doesn't work and it takes my energy. So I just look at him and he'll go, "Oh, my bad. Let me," and we have this thing where I say, spin around and try again. And he twirls around and he'll come back and like, okay, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, thank you for that. Cause I got to see that, oh, I could have also been tolerating it because I tolerated it from his dad when his dad used to get
And what
upset
I
and just
also
like up.
get from
But
that
his was in
is
the form
that
of like hanging up the phone.
what I also get from that is that your feelings are you're creating a new standard of you are included. So sometimes we are so concerned with other people's feelings and how other people are experiencing life that we don't include our own, right? We silence our own, and then silencing our own becomes a
Yeah.
standard for ourselves, right? And so a new standard for ourselves can be, I'm included. I have feelings as well, right? I have
Right.
impact. So being able to include yourself creates a new standard as well. Versus
Yes, as the mama and always like, well, I'm the mama.
versus always considering
Thank you.
the other person's experience and not considering your own experience. So considering your own experience in life is a new standard. Creates a new
Amen.
way of living. So thank you for sharing. We are
Ashe.
at 8:43.
Thank you,
All
Bill.
right. Thank you, Estacia Yogisha.
Thank you, Meika. Good to be seen in green. Do not throw the Wizard of Oz
You
hat
know
on
it,
me.
my favorite movie. So thank you everyone for sharing. I know the chat is like off the hook popping with shares and contributions and people supporting each other in the chat. And I just want to thank you for your engagement. And I want to set a new tone for the Wake Up community around engagement. Like, look at your life and say, okay, you know what? Let me engage more in this area. It might be uncomfortable, it might not be something I want to do, but it's going to expand who I am and it's going to expand my brain. And so one of the things that I did not discuss today, because we had so much to cover, is that the revolution will not be televised because the revolution starts in here. In order to have the evolution of life, in order to evolve, there has to start a revolution in here. And the revolution is from the video. Watch the video. The link is going to be on Facebook. The link is in the chat right now. You'll get the link. But watch the video because us shifting how we see ourselves and us shifting what we know about ourselves, because remember, my last time I was here, I said we got to move belief into knowing. You don't believe your parents are your parents. You know your parents are your parents. And so you start off with belief. Like, I got to, start strengthening the muscle of belief. But you want to be able to move that belief into a knowing. Like, I know I am the prize. Not I believe I am the prize. You want to start with belief, but you want to end up knowing you are the prize. And knowing is a revolution. That revolution is your power to the people, but inside here of your heart, which creates a new evolution in your life. So you cannot have the evolution without revolting against those old habits, you got to revolt against the old way of being in order to have your evolution. Okay, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Chantel, we can move to the next slide. Shan, are you there?
Yeah, actually, Tiffany, are you able to jump in? It's not sharing for me. 1 second. I'm trying. Oh, got it. We're good.
You got the share? Okay.
No, I got it. I got it. Oh, wait, do you have it up already? Sorry.
I can share it.
Okay, please. Thank you. I don't know what's going on over here. Thank you.
All right, here we go. You're gonna have to drop the verbiage though.
Got you. I can
All
do that.
right.
So we have one free session if somebody wants to work with me on personally, like what areas of life you're betraying, what standards you're betraying. And I'm going to pick number 18.
Okay, 1 second. Oh, it's purple.
Ah!
Purple. You finished doing your
Purple,
hair?
do you accept purple?
Accept. I'm almost finished. I accept what I got.
You got the free session with me.
Oh, yes, baby. Come on, my birthright. Come on, birthright. I accept that.
Yes, so reach out to me and we will schedule an appointment, okay?
Yes, pretty girl appointment. Perfect.
Yes, thank you. And so if you want to work with me on this specific topic, this number, I hear from you guys that it's not working. So what's best is to go to my Facebook and message me, Meika Joseph, or if you have Instagram, you can DM me, the Crystal Raven, BK. You can also screenshot this. You can email me if you want to set up an appointment. And that's MeikaJ74 at gmail.com. All right. And so love offerings and donations, love offerings and donations go to the admin team. And you can Zelle or QuickPay. So leadership development at gmail.com, Cash App Spirit of a Woman, code 1420 MJ. And if you want to be a contribution to me, you would have to screenshot that and I will share my information if you want to give me a love offering personally, because sometimes I get messages that people want to do that. And so you can screenshot my information and we can create something. Okay. Shan, you got it.
I got it from here. Thank you, Meika. Go ahead and breathe. Sharon, I got it. Just drop and do your thing on the other side there. Love offers and donations can be set up automatically to Woo using one of the links here. bit.ly/Woo Love at $25 a month, Woo Love $50 a month, Woo Love $75, or Woo Love $100 a month. Think of it as a subscription, the set it and forget it method to pour back into the community that pours into you on a regular basis.
Amen.
Coming up tomorrow. Nope, I'm lying again. Here we go. This is what happens when you're not here on Thursdays. Coming up on next week on Sunday, July 27th, homeschool versus traditional public school, key facts and personal reflections part 2. This is being facilitated by the wonderful LaWanda Banks. So make sure you register and you are here in the space next week on Sunday. And the Woo Nation would like to welcome all new members to the community where we come to learn, elevate, and ascend. If today is your first time joining us, whether it's on Facebook, Zoom, you're watching a playback, you're here live, we thank you for joining us. And we invite you to come back tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that. This is session 1420. So that means you have 1419 sessions to catch up on. So make sure you do that. And we're happy to have you. If you're interested in joining the Wake Up Everybody volunteer team, please and thank you, Ashe. Please bring your talents and your abilities over this side of the screen where we can put them to good use. You can click the link that's being dropped, or you can email us at info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. Let us know that you're interested in volunteering. Tell us what your skills and abilities are, and trust and believe we can figure out how to put those to work. This is the Wake Up Everybody schedule. We're live on Zoom and Facebook 5 days a week, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time, and Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m.-ish. If you would like a notification when it is time to join us on either platform, Zoom or Facebook, please text the word Woo Nation in all caps to 74121. And we thank you for joining us. And here's how you stay in touch. You can register weekly at bit.ly/wake up movement. You'll get a notification telling you who the facilitators are and what those session topics are, so you can add them to your calendar. Join us on Facebook. We have a public page, which is bit.ly/Woo Nation, or our private community, which is our group. Follow us on Instagram at Wake Up Everybody Virtual. Those sessions are going up on YouTube, so you can follow our YouTube page. And again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or you're interested in being a facilitator on the Wake Up Everybody series, please email us. Again, that's info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. And y'all already know what time it is. It is time to come off of mute. It is time to pour back into Meika what she poured back into us. Give her that verbal love shower and thanks for what she shared.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you, beloved. Thank you, thank you,
Thank
thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Love you, Meika. Love you, love you,
Love
love you,
you.
love you.
Love
Love,
you.
love,
Love you.
love.
Love you.
you.
I am so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank
you.
you to the
Your love
community
and
for
your
this, your
joy,
Thank you,
abundance
transparent
of
Mika.
shares.
Thank you,
blessings.
my
Thank you
dear
all
sister.
for
Thank
coming
you,
together.
thank you,
Thank
thank
For this
you.
is
Only you
beautiful.
are
Thank
Hello,
you.
enough.
guys.
Making that heart
Hello.
chakra
Her
green.
and be
Thank y'all.
Thank
Love you, coach.
you.
Today.
And I finished my hair.
And I'm yes, post in the boo with your new hairdo, Purple. Holla.
When we log off, we going back to St. Kitts.
Pretty Purple.
Yes,
Have a blessed
yes,
day, everyone.
yes. Have a great day, everyone, and
Love
thank you.
y'all.
Love you all.
Bye.
Love you.